22 and January of 23, I went to El Salvador. And in April of 22, I went to Bolivia. All were medical mission projects. Actually, I'd always wanted to do medicine in a different way than just going to work every day. And that was always actually part of my retirement plan, both time-wise and financially. And I went looking for an organization I thought I could work with well, and found Samaritan's Purse World Medical Missions, and have really enjoyed my 3 trips with them. I actually have another one scheduled in January to go back to the clinic in El Salvador. So in El Salvador, I worked in an established mission clinic with a full-time staff. When I'm there, I'm basically just an extra set of hands to help them get caught up. A significant thing that I did both years was all of the physicals for the kids in the affiliated orphanage. Those are required by the government once a year. It's about 27 kids. And I got all of them done in the 2 weeks I was there, so that took some pressure off their regular staff. I also did well baby visits, sick children visits, usual pediatric stuff. But the big thing for them was that I got all 20 whatever of those physicals done. I did that both years, and I will be doing it again this coming year. That's the plan. And in Bolivia, I was on a riverboat. We went into really, really remote villages off the Amazon River basin, and delivered medical care on the boat, pretty much. We did make a couple house calls up in the villages, and that was truly amazing and different from anything I'd ever experienced before. Well, I'm certainly out of my comfort zone. I don't speak Spanish well, so I have a translator for everything, medical, that is. I'm certainly out of my comfort zone culturally. I mean, people living on a riverbank in Bolivia is not a familiar experience for me. There are limitations, especially on the riverboat, but there are limitations on what services are available. And it was disheartening in both places to see some chronic conditions that children had that could not be addressed. Mm-hmm. They simply do not have the resources. Even in El Salvador, where they do have a children's hospital, the waiting lines are long. Sometimes the children get denied. There just isn't enough resource to do everything that needs to be done. But for the healthy kids, we could do everything that you would do for a healthy kid or a mildly ill child. Moms of small children are the same everywhere. I mean, I don't think I really was surprised by it, but I was heartened by it. They all want to know what they're doing a good job. They all want to know their child's healthy. They all want to know what they could be doing better and how they could be doing it better. And moms are they're the same everywhere in every culture, or at least the cultures I've experienced. And it was just really heartwarming. Leading up to, things really did fall into place in a fairly straightforward fashion. There was a lot of paperwork I had to gather, going through the state government, insurance, and it all came together in time, which was, when you're dealing with the state government, seemed miraculous. On the trips, my big prayer would be that my skill set would match what was needed when I got there, and that turned out to be truly the case in both settings. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to go somewhere and then not be useful. So, but you don't know for sure ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And afterwards, I realized I'd made new friends, new Christian friends in different parts of the world. I had a sort of a sense of renewed purpose as a physician, that I may be retired, but I'm not completely washed out. And one of the most poignant moments for me was on the riverboat. We were having devotions in the morning. A third of the group spoke English only, a third Spanish only, and a third both fluently. But to hear them sing a hymn in Spanish that we sing in English, that we're singing, I mean, we're obviously reading the same scripture, but then to sing the same music, it was just so poignant to me that we truly are brothers and sisters. There's a language barrier, but we worship the same Lord with the same songs and with obviously the same scripture. But I just, that moment when we were, I don't even remember what hymn it was, but it didn't matter. Well, I was a little more dependent on him there than I normally am. I'm a pretty independent person, but there were things I didn't have control over. And I found myself praying more for the kids I was seeing, a couple, especially one who was very ill. We prayed with the parents for that one, and I don't know if he survived the night. There was a very scary moment on the riverboat where some people had dropped their entire cargo out of a boat, and the men on our boat in the middle of the night were in the water trying to retrieve as much of their cargo as they could, and it was dangerous. And I was in prayer for hours while those men worked with this family who had dropped probably their life savings worth of stuff into the river. It had just capsized. It's all kinds of good reasons. One is it really stretches you outside your comfort zone, which is how we grow. If you do the same thing every day, all the time, there's not a lot of growth that occurs. You make new friends, and they're wonderful people. I'm going to be blunt. I am a terrible evangelist, but I believe that when I serve as a physician, I'm still representing the hands, feet, and head of Jesus. And that there are people around me who are wonderful evangelists, so I kind of let them do their thing, but I can love on kids and I can love on their parents and grandparents sometimes and just demonstrate love. And then I let someone else explain where that comes from, because I'm terrible at that. Yeah. But we can serve. And I really, you get a bigger sense of the whole Christian family, the worldwide Christian family outside your own locale, your own church. It's just that huge sense that we're part of something really big. And I would say if you're called, go.